Like to me, this is a no. Hello, hello. Hello, dear. Hi there.
Decent.
Dear, I'm in a very good mood. Can I tell you why?
Why?
Because I just came to realize, right,
There we
that
go.
after today, wait, let me get my other camera. After today, I don't have to speak to you guys for a whole week. Oh, isn't that a bloody amazing fact of life?
Is
Isn't that?
Ernest gonna host the calls then, right?
No, not that. Like we don't do Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's amazing.
Oh, like weekends.
Yeah. Oh, I can actually do
Ah,
work evenings. Oh, so nice. You know, wonderful. Let me fix my camera. Okay.
Can I ask you a thing on outreach, Ismail?
Sorry, did somebody speak?
Can I ask you?
you just muted yourself.
Can I ask you a thing?
And you muted yourself again.
Francisco, like, do you want to speak or what? No, I'm joking. Ask. Go ahead.
I did the call with AJ. He said me that I can improve my tonality, and the only, let's say, technique I know of doing outreach that Jawad told me was doing the crazy voice. So uh,
What the fuck is a crazy voice?
It's like explaining you things like, "Hey, is this Ishmael? This is Francisco." Pretty energizing thing. Like I don't know, but it's the only way I.
Funny enough, my recommendation for cold calling is use the gay voice. Like, be a really happy guy who just wants to help. But look, put one of your cold calls in the chat, and I'll tell you what. Like, download it and put it in the chat, and I'll tell you what you're fucking up.
Okay.
Wonderful. Uh, Chahat, Celine, cameras, please.
Isn't my camera on?
Unless you turn black. No, it's not. Do. Right, boy, Marcus, wonderful. So let's all see how shit Francesco is at cold calling. One second. 20. I now see why you wear a hat. It makes sense now.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, is this David? Yes, it's Darinian. This is Francisco. We have a
So let's all listen to this wonderful call that he's done. And then we'll kick off today.
hello. Hey, is this David? Yes, it's Darinian. This is Francisco. We have a wild phone. Yeah. Okay, thanks. So my team and I essentially work with real estate agents in Miami to help them provide more bookings for listings. It's going really well. You know why it's working so well. Okay.
Like, thus far, I don't believe you. Like, I don't believe that it's going so well.
Mm.
Right?
So
I don't, and you also waste so much time, and like there's too many gaps in between where you're just burning time.
David? Yes, it's Darinian. This is Francisco.
This is Francisco. You just wasted like half a second.
We have a
We haven't spoken before.
wild phone.
Can I let you know I have called? That's fine.
Yes. Okay, thanks. So My team and I essentially work with real estate agents in Miami.
Look at that. Look at that.
My team and I
Firstly, so is not necessarily.
with
We work with the like
real estate agents in Miami to help them provide more bookings for listings. Geo-targeting with that distance from your property. No, it's not about you. The algorithm for those instances, they go on a business website, you don't really know who they are, and your team is ready with the now what it means is that you have a first mover advantage consistency. That's why everyone will work over 90%.
I assume she hung up on you
Mm.
because you're just speaking. You're not having it doesn't sound personable. You need to enunciate your words more and you need to stop saying so and sound more competent.
Like how some more competent.
Goal would firstly be but you need to enunciate more because you're just speaking and there's an accent and this woman doesn't know why the fuck you're calling. Yeah, you have to be more clear and concise with what you say.
Okay.
Wonderful. We can do a session next week on cold calling, Francesco. Wait, have you watched my 3-hour video on cold calling, Francisco?
No, still have not watched it, but plan to watch.
Well, let me know when you watch it, and then you can, do cold calling, and then if it still doesn't work out, then we can, do a session on it.
Okay.
Just curious, Abu Bakr, do you believe the worms on your head make you more attractive?
When they're covering my forehead, I do.
Okay. Very good. Happy to know. I've always wanted worms on my head as well. How do I do it?
You need a magic African lady.
Don't know what that means, but okay. Wonderful. Chad, by the way, I can't see you. You're doing the black face like Celine was doing
I'm
previously.
trying to turn on the camera and it's just black screen is popping. I do not know what's wrong.
February? No, February was last month, but there. Wonderful. So today we're going to be going over. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. This is going to be painful. So we're doing calculus calculated. Does anyone care to tell me what that is? Maths. I really don't want to go. It's going to take long. You're all going to disappoint me. I really don't want to go over maths with you guys.
Is the Kuna Matata?
No, you're using Hakuna Matata incorrectly. It's not Hakuna Matata. Yes. Well, the fact that I have to do this session is Hakuna Matata. Yes. All right. So, wonderful. There we go. So, calculus calculated is basically very boring maths, but you can make it super easy. So, we're going over spelled terribly, but that's fine. Now, 95% of the time, when a teacher says to you, you're going to need to know how to do this in the future, you don't need to know how to do it in the future. The only issue is when it comes to maths and business, you need to know how to do maths for business. Like, it is a requirement. Anybody here bad at maths? Wonderful. Now, fundamentally, it's typically to do with pricing or anything to do with price matters. Conversion rates matter. So this would be relevant to, let's say, cold calling stats. right? You're going to need it also for ad campaigns, right? Now, typically, most of the stuff is provided to you, but you will need to know how to do maths on all of these. The biggest thing that you're going to need to understand is algebra plus, what is it, ratios, right? So to make this relatively easy and commonsensical for you guys, what we're going to do is go over a few different parts of maths that matter to business. So, Abu Bakr, what niche are you in?
Real estate,
You're in what? Roofing.
real estate.
Oh, wonderful. So you and Nika both are in the same ones. I'm going to use you guys as an example. Nika, you're not in real estate. What niche are you in?
Spa.
So over here, let's just go over real estate first, and then we can, if we have time, we'll go into med spa, right? So for those that are bad at maths, you can do everything very easily, and you don't have to think on the spot. So over here, let's look at payment choices. Over here, let's look at return on investment, and over here, let's look at realtor take home. Wonderful. So over here, I'm making my life easy, right? By just pre-calculating everything, I can have this open at any time, but realistically, I can just memorize it so I don't have to do the maths. Now, Abu Bakr, I hope you know this, right? What is the average commission an agent makes?
5%.
It's typically we're looking at 2.5 split amongst the both agents, right? But now some of them have fuck deals, some of them have better deals, right? So let's do 1.25. Oh, 1.25. Yeah, cool. Let's do 1.5, 1.75, 2, 2.25, and then let's do 5, right? So over here, these are all the percentages that an agent makes, right? Or can make depending on their fee structure. See, one thing that Abu Bakr is going to need to know when he's on the calls is how much do they make? And when he asks him about the commission, he should know very quickly what they're making, right? So there's different ways to structure this in terms of design, but nice and simple. Let's say over here, commission structure. So let's say that the listing price and then the take home, right? So boom, 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 boom. Send to that. Send to that. So we're going to be going over one example, and then we're going to look at different niches and how this applies to all the different niches, right? So let's say listing prices, we're looking at 200,000. Yeah. 200,000. And then what I want to do here is then go for this. Is anyone confused with what I'm doing right now? Celine, what am I doing?
Putting listing prices,
No, what am I trying to calculate here right now?
the commission, the take home, I mean.
Why? Why am I doing that?
I don't know.
The reason that I'm doing this is so that I'm able to calculate, right? When I bring an agent a deal, how much is that deal worth to them? Right? It also helps me calculate how much money they've made when they tell me how many deals they've done, so I can get approximate average. So we're gonna do A times E divided by 100. Boom. And this is also important to market research. And let me just complete this sheet, and then I'll tell you guys how we can use this. Okay, I'll just do it up to 1 million and then chilling. Times by this, divided by 100. Wonderful. So this one calculation here is important. The first reason for it is market research. Now, why is this important to market research? Someone please tell me the answer quickly. Chahat.
I do not know.
I'm not gonna lie, you kind of sounded like a Dalek there. Abu Bakr.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Why is the calculation, or how is the calculation I've just done relevant to market research?
So you can kind of have a good idea of what the real estate agents are making.
Dio.
To know how much to price and to know how much, ROI, essentially. To calculate the
So-
ROI.
Yes, but this is all obvious. It's to know where to target, right? So over here, I've got listing prices from 200,000 to 1 million. Just based off this, all I have to do is provide leads, whether they are at 1 million or 200,000 or $50 for a property, right? The job is borderline the exact same. As such, I need to look at this and think, cool. So this is my maths that I need to do. Then we look at algebra, right? So we then bring in algebra onto this. Yeah. Okay, cool. So I then have to calculate. Let's look at a market and then let's see one lead costs how much. In one place, it's 200,000. The other place is 1 million. Which one has more bang for buck? 1 million, obviously, right? Because they get way more from one action. But now, what is the next thing that will calculate this? What is the next thing I need to consider? There's more value in these properties here than these ones over here. The next point of valuation is, someone please?
Commission rate.
Nope. How often do these deals happen? Right? So I need to look at the commissions as one variable. Right? Let's call this X. The next thing is I need to look at how many transactions there are. This is Y. What is another variable? Now, this is for me just to decide where to target. Right? What is another variable I need to look at? Market trends. Thank you, guys. You guys are all so good. Market trends, which are all available online. If the market's going down, let's stay out of it. If the market's going really up, let's get into it. right? Because people follow the market trends. And then let's call this one A. What is another variable? How many agents are there in that market? Because that will tell me how many prospects I have, right? Do you guys see how all of this, or utilizing all of this, puts me at a better advantage? Right? So then, okay, let's go with Rudra. Explain to me one by one with no pauses how each one is beneficial to my market research.
Okay, so for an example, if we take an example of commission, like how much a particular agent is getting commission, like we can know that. Moreover, like how many transactions he or she is making. So
No,
we can,
this is in the market.
okay, in the,
So example, I'll be comparing California to Texas.
okay. So like how much it is costing in California compared to Texas, yeah?
No, how many transactions, not how much, right? So
Okay,
how many homes are being sold in California versus in Texas,
okay,
right? Next
yeah.
one.
And the market trends, like for an example, like the market is going upwards, like the prices of houses are like going upwards or like downwards.
Yeah.
It is increasing or decreasing, and how many agents, like how many agents are working in current area. For example, California, how many agents are like in California, like 7,000, 5,000 agents working in California.
Cool. This will tell me how much bang I get for my buck. So when I do my service delivery, what will I be actually providing them versus how much I'm costing? This will also tell me how much do they make, right? Another variable that I can calculate is the average take home per agent that is available online, right? So I'm going to add this as B. So these are my five five variables that I'm looking at. So average take home per agent. Am I working with broke motherfuckers or do they have money? Can they afford my service? Next one. If I bring them a deal, how much am I bringing them a deal for? How much am I able to charge? Right? Property locations with 200,000, you will not charge anywhere close to properties at 1 million because the commissions on 1 million is 20,000 or up to 20,000, right? How many transactions are happening in the market? Are we looking at an increase in transactions or a decrease in transactions? Whether that's to do with buyers or whether that's to do with sellers. Market trends. Is the market going up? Is it a seller's market or is it a buyer's market? As an example, you can have markets where there are no homes on the market. If people are not selling their homes, can motherfuckers buy homes? Wonderful. That's service delivery here, right? And then how many agents is how many fuckers can I call? Right? So way back when I was in my pubescent days, this is you guys' days, what I did is I think I got a list of 100 cities, right? The 100 top cities in United States. Now I did this with different regions, right? In the United States, I put all of them in categories, right? And what I did is I had a tally for each one. I didn't mix this together, right? I had a tally A, B, C, D, E. This is like for each five of these, right? And I would create my own ranking system, right? So I gave it a 1, 2, 3, 4, depending on the performance. 4 being low, 1 being high. Then the first thing that I did, I ranked all of them. Right? I put all these rankings in all the 100 cities. I did all my research, did all the rankings. Then with that, with all of the rankings, I then decided which ones had the most layovers, which cities had the most ones and twos together. Right? Once I had that, I knew quickly what the fuck I'm not gonna touch. And then I knew quickly, what the fuck am I going to touch? Right? Do you see how this has a massive impact, will have a massive impact on closing rate? Right? Because as an example, let's say Dio, super keen beaver, very good, has a lot of potential. He goes to the wrong place with the wrong variables, and all of a sudden he thinks he's not it. But all the Pillik didn't do is he didn't do the right research to know whether or not his targeting was correct or was not correct. Right? This is one form of calculus calculated that will allow you to succeed. And this applies to every niche. Now, obviously, some niches have more data than other niches, right? But then all you have to do is you have to look at all the variables that could affect what you are doing, right? Could affect your niche, could affect the performance. And then based on that, you then do your work, right? Now, let's go back onto this sheet. Then the purpose for having this sheet here active is so that when an agent tells me how much money they're making or what commissions they have, I know, give or take, what their take home is. Common sense. If they are working in a place where the 750 is the average, and they tell me that they got on a 2% commission, right? All I have to do, they close 8 deals. I have a good idea of how much they've made. Because all I have to do is 8 times this number here. Opa. 8 times these numbers here. Does this make sense? Opa, let me just make that bold. Make that bold, right? The next thing, data choices. Oh, sorry, payment choices, right? Let's go. Abu Bakr, how much would you like to charge a client?
2,500 setup fee, 1,000 retainer.
2,500 setup fee, right? And then let's just do a 1,000 retainer, right? Now, there are 2 ways to look at this, right? You can either look at this at a point of I want immediate cash, or you can look at this over longevity, right? In 1 year, you would be collecting 14,500, right? On the basis that they say it for 1 year. So now, Abu Bakr, what are all the ways that you can charge a client?
Pay per lead, retainer, setup fee, ad, I don't know, ad spend maybe. No, that's all I know.
You can charge them proportionate to the ad spend, but you don't want to do that. You want to do that when you scale, right? So pay per lead, pay per close, setup fee, right? Now, granted, in America it is illegal, and parts of Canada it is illegal to do that, but do we really give a fuck? Not really. Abu Bakr, where are you based?
Jersey Channel Islands.
There we go. Do you think the American fucking Realtor Association is going to come chase you for taking commissions?
I don't think so. But
Right.
which one is it? That's illegal.
Taking commissions.
Oh, just in general.
Yeah, it's illegal to take commissions. It was put in place because of real estate agents and mortgage brokers, because people were not like, what was happening is I was recommending Tom as the mortgage broker, but Tom was my friend and Tom was giving me money under the table. Right. And then they had basically RESPA, they had RESPA, which basically protects people, blah, blah, blah. What that means is agencies, while we are not involved in that, we cannot do that. And like there's certain structures where you can do that, but certain structures where you can't. So if you share the leads amongst multiple people, then you can. It's complicated. But big picture, we don't give a fuck. Right. So now, on the basis that Abu Bakr knows he can manage his clients, right? And he knows he can get them results and close deals. What that means is he wants to make 14,500 per client on and only on the basis he knows that he can do that. This one is okay. Right, let me just right? He can do paper close, right? Now, on the basis that, give me 1 second. On the basis that he knows all of his leads are very good, high quality, qualified, and he knows that they can be handled. He doesn't know about the closing, but he knows in the quality of his work that the leads are good, right? He goes for the paper lead, right? And he can split the price up over there. Like he can take a good chunk on the paper lead. Then, on the basis that he is not comfortable with the paper lead, because he's not comfortable with the quality of the lead, he's going to go down the retainer route. Now, the reason for the retainer route is you tell them, look, I'm not selling you per lead. I'm going to give you every single lead I've got, and I need you to close them. Some of them will be amazing. Some of them will be terrible. All I'm trying to do is get everyone in your vicinity, in your state or city. I'm trying to get you their contact details to close them either now or in the future. Right? With that, we go with the retainer fee. And then on the basis that he is not confident in any of that, what he does is called a Trojan horse. Does anyone here know what the Trojan horse is? Francesca, what is a Trojan horse?
It's like an arm used by the Greek people to beat.
Yeah, we all know the fucking story. How does it apply to sales? Okay, you don't know. So the Trojan horse is basically a lie that looks very nice. So what we do with the Trojan horse is we get all the money on the setup fee. The way that we do this is we tell them, normally our retainer is 2,500 monthly. But now the way that we work is we charge a one-time fee of 4,000 for the first 3 months. Right? Which means that you're saving a total of 3,500 with us in the first 3 months, and only after that you pay 2,500. Does this make sense? All right. What this allows us to do is the prospect will look at that and be like, I'm saving money. These first 3 months are very good. And what that means is you've collected all of your cash up front. Capiche? Yeah. And in this circumstance, you want 3,500. If you have no confidence in fucking anything, the way you do it is with the Trojan horse. So we now test to see if people are listening. Dio, when do I do paper lead? Thank you. JB, when do I do paper lead?
When you're confident in the quality of leads that you can bring the prospects.
Okay, when do I do setup fee?
Only setup fee or the whole?
Only setup fee.
When you're not confident in your the other models, so you do the Trojan horse and you charge a bulk up front.
Wonderful. Retainer.
You do a retainer.
Nika, when do I do retainer?
I'm not sure.
You do so retainer is when you can do the work, you just don't know the quality of the leads. You're not confident in the quality of the leads, so you tell them, I'm going to send you as many leads as possible. Right? Now, let's just handle any bullshit moral issues you guys may have, because one or two of you are going to have it. Now, some would say, if I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, it's not good for me to charge a high setup fee. Would you guys agree? Or do you see why someone would say that? But now, why is it that why do I need to charge a high setup fee? Someone tell me the answer. Yes, JB?
To get a high cash flow so that you could essentially then hire out the service delivery of the other aspects that you're not good at.
There we go. Right? I shit you not. I Unless you're Dio. Like Dio is an exception because he's really fucking stupid and he hires out incorrectly. Dio. Yeah, there we go. You know what I'm fucking talking about, right? 4K, two consultants. Ooh, ooh. Right? Two consultants. You will learn everything. I guarantee you, throughout all of America, for $1,000, right? 1K. Do you believe that you can find a really, really top fucking end agent who's running ads and tell them, I'll pay you 1K, tell me what you're doing for 1 hour, please? Do you think you can find that? Anyone have any doubts here? Cool. So for 1K, I now have I now have the bird's eye view. I love how I just like put letters as acronyms as though they're normal. I have the bird's eye view on what to do, right? I know step A, step B, step C. I don't know how the fuck to build it, what to do, right? Don't worry, I have 3K remaining. Yes? With this 3K, I'm going to go to Rudra's land or his cousin's land, which is Pakistan. Rudra, you're Indian, right?
Yeah.
Hey, if you're Indian, you say yes, sir. Not yeah. No, joking. Right? You go onto Upwork, you go into Fiverr, and then give me the ads. Give me the funnels. Give me the automations. Automations. But now, this is the key thing that you have to understand with this tactic, right? Let's say I want to hire Francesco. Francesco is my Pakistani. Yes? I am not going to I'm gonna put the job post out. I'm gonna get loads of people saying I can build it, I can build it, I can build it. What you're gonna do is say, no, 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 no. I don't want you to build it. I want you to hop onto a Zoom call with me and show me how I build it. And you tell them, I'm really stupid, I'm really slow. I need you to show me how to do all of it. Then you build all of it, every aspect of this, in and out. You ask all the questions you need, and then all of a sudden, for 4K, your client has a successful campaign because you can hire out all aspects of the business. Right? Now, let's say you close them for a setup fee of 1K. Can you do all of this? Maybe you can do it on a kind of budget, but you're going to get budget results. Right? So, on the basis that you don't have any fucking experience, you tell them this will 100% work. I know it's going to work. We do this. Right? You're leveraging the we in your head to the people who you're going to hire because they do it for a fucking living. Yes. And then you're going to have a gorgeous funnel, gorgeous ads. Granted, ads are super fucking easy. And automations all set up in place, all Zapier triggers, workflows that are necessary, all done. And all of a sudden you close one. Yes, Abu Bakr.
Are these all separate people, or is it just one person to show me the ads, funnels, and automations?
You see, there's a thing, right? There was a joke about a woman who had 3 husbands, one for the cooking, one for the fucking, and one for the emotion. Yes, it is very rare that you get all in one. Yes, there's a saying. It's not the most appropriate saying, right? Someone, I think it's my response to somebody. Yeah, he's like, Ishmael, why can't I find a woman who's really beautiful, really kind, and really smart? My response, God doesn't give with both hands. Yes. Now, granted, not an appropriate response, not a literal response. You can't get everything, right? And what I'd much rather is have 3 separate experts. Yes. Than one person who tells me they know everything. Anytime someone says that they can do everything, I'm not going to hire them for a single fucking job. I want one person who's very good at one thing, one person who's very good at another. Now, me, myself, what I do in these circumstances when I don't know shit, because there's lots of shit I don't know. Right? I recently did this as well with some fucking, what's it called? HTML emails, right? I hire one person. We do everything. Then I hire a second person just to confirm what person number one said to me. right? So then I'll hop onto the second one. I'll be like, look, this is everything I've been able to do. What else is there? Right? And those that can comment on it, you work to your advantage. Does this make sense? Right? So when closing a client and you don't know what the fuck you're doing, cool. Go for a super high setup fee and hire out everything. Tell them it's going to take 1 week for everything to be built, and everything will be built in 1 week. On the basis you don't be like JB and go spend it with singles in a strip club, right? You should be fine and get the results. Or at the very least, go really far. Yes. Now, part of you, on the basis that you achieve this, will think, but I need the money. And I can YouTube this. I'll go on YouTube. Don't YouTube it. You can't go on YouTube. Yes, you guys struggle to listen to these calls. You will also struggle with fucking YouTube videos on how to build entire workflows, campaigns, and agencies. Yes. And now, while we also have a lot of resources for you guys to utilize, you're probably going to fuck up the resources. All right. So over here, so that's for the setup fee, right? Now, pay per lead, or let's say retainer, right? The way that we calculate retainer is over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at, so over here, I'm going to look at shit. If I worked for this client for 1 year, right, what would I produce for them and what would be shit? Not what would be good, what would be shit? Let's say we're sticking to real estate. Yes. Like, fuck it. I can get 6 deals, right? I can get 6 deals for my client. Now, depending on what that's going to be, I'm going to be, no, depending on the region, I'm making them X. I'm like, cool, I'm making them X. I can take 30% of their X. This is at the high end, right? Let's say 15 to 30% of their X. I also have to look at ad spend. So ad spend plus my fees equals this, whatever percentage I decide. Right? So we're obviously going to have to minus 12K for the ad spend. And then the remainder, that's how much I'm going to charge. And that remainder, I'm going to divide that by 12. That equals the retainer. Does this make sense? All right. Relatively simple maths. Next one is once you know how often a lead closes, right? You're saying, cool, it's going to take 3 months for them to close. They're going to make this much in 3 months. I'm going to get them X amount of leads. Exact same thing. What's 15%? That's how much I'm taking off of them. Yeah, 15 to 30%. And then I'm going to divide that by how many leads I'm going to give them. Right? And then the final one is pay per close. If you are doing, let's say, a setup fee and only pay per close, rinse the bank account. Again, rinse their bank account. If I'm doing any shit that's like pay per close, I was speaking to an agent out here in Dubai, right? And he's like, let's do pay per close. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. I want 50% of all the money you make. Right? We went back and forth. He concluded on the basis that we get started, I'll take 50% of all of the money he makes because there is so much less risk on his side and more work on my side. Does this make sense? But now on the basis that you're doing pay per close, what you need is very good tracking and follow-up systems. Right? So I'll give an example with one guy that I trained a long time ago in real estate, right? So he was very good at what he did, right? However, his first client was a Russian lady. Now, nothing wrong with Russian people, no issues, nothing wrong with the Russian lady, except for the fact that she sounded like a babushka, which is another word for like a grandmother in Russian. She sounded very fucking Russian. Yes. So he sent her loads of appointments and they all fucked up and he wasn't happy. Right. So the service delivery did not go well. However, he was tracking all the leads that he sent her. And from the leads that he sent her, I believe, what, in 2 months, 5 deals closed from what he was tracking. They didn't close with her, they closed with somebody else. But you need to be up to date with your tracking so that you can shit on the agent and you can make sure that they don't fuck you over. And you need a very good contract. Make sense? But now, when it comes to these types of deals, they won't fuck you over because all you have to do is tell them that you're going to report them to the National Realtors Association, get their license stripped off of them, so that they're gonna have to find another fucking job if they try to fuck you over, and then you're all good. Yes, but now these are the different options that you have with that. Now, over here, so now let's assume that we've calculated all of these numbers. We don't have enough time. If it was a 2-hour session, we could, right? And then I'm going to look at, cool, if I want to charge 5K, yes, let's say 2.5 and then 1,000, right? You can then see how all of this is split up, right? Or to the other extent, if you're looking at 15 to 30%, you can do all of your maths based on 50%, 25%, 30%. You need to have all those numbers so that when you give them the pricing, you know what you're shooting with because you've asked the right questions in discovery, you know the build, you know what they can afford, so on and so forth. You've done the maths beforehand, which is calculated, you have it in your head, and then you can utilize it on the call. Does this make sense? Right? Then over here, nice and simple. So what you want to do is for this one, you're just calculating how much they make, right? So let's look at the listing commission. So we over here we have the listing price. Then let's assume an average of 2% commissions. And then nice and simple, if I get them one deal, I think disconnected. If I get them one deal, if I get them two deals, so on and so forth, how much do they pay? Does that make sense? Or how much do they make? And then based on how much they make, I can then bring that in objection handling. Capiche? So that was an introduction into calculus calculated. What questions do we have?
So you pick the pricing based on the person, like based on the questions you ask them, or do you pick which one works for you?
So I'll give an example, right? Let's say I'm speaking to you, Celine. I know you're heavy with cash. I know you're interested, right? I know I can take more money off of you, or I can close you for a higher fee. But now the question is, how much higher can I close Celine for? Right? I can't just say 5,000 out of my ass. I know that I can charge her more, but what are the percentages so that the returns make sense to her? Because Celine will have in her head how much she's going to make if things go well. And if I shoot too high, right? I remember I was watching a sales review. One guy, if he had the worst accent, like so fucking strong. He worked really hard on his sales. He was about to close somebody, right? And then he gave him the most ridiculous fucking pricing, right? Like he just shot way above common sense. Like there's common sense, stupidity. He shot above that. And I reviewed that call and I said, what the fuck did you just do? And his logic, they were in pain and they had the money, which was true. They were in pain, they needed change, and they had the money to pay for it. But why the fuck would you pay over market price for something? Right? So for that reason, you need to have the right maths and you can't just pull numbers out your ass. Right? Like the amount of times I'll see an agency owner getting started and I ask them, how much are you charge? They'll say 2,000. And I'll say, why? And it's literally because they picked the number 2,000 because it sounded good. They'd be happy with 2,000. And it seems fair. But then when I ask them, how much money do you bring them back per deal? How many deals are you expecting to bring back? What is the margins on those deals? What are any other costs potentially related? Have you looked into advertising as one of the costs that are attributed to their spending that they're going to look at when it comes to paying you? And the answer is no, 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 no. So that's why you need all of these answers. And yes, you do change. When it comes to scaling, you want to have a fixed price, right? But on the basis that you're not scaling and you're just focusing on developing, then your aim is to close. And the higher you close for, the more money you have to invest in yourself to get much better at what you do. JB?
So what if you do the maths and the number that you come up with, let's say you come up with a number 2000 as you mentioned. However, you know that you are not good with getting leads for the customer. You know you can't get them a lot of leads either, so you can't charge a retainer. So your best option by guess would be the high setup fee. So how do you go around that? So your number that you came up with is lower, but the setup fee that you would need to go and outsource and learn the consultants.
Simple. Yeah. Let's say I need 5K, right? Cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to sell 6 months of my service for 5K and tell them that we do a 6-month minimum term to see a solid ROI because people like to leave too early. And yeah, 6 months, 5K. And all of a sudden, cool, I have to work for a client for 6 months, but I get everything built out and I've got my 5K in the bank. Right. Another reason that you do this, I remember I was on a call with an agent and he told me everything. And towards like the later part of the call, I paused and I said, wait, can you just give me like, can you give me 1-2 minutes? I did a bunch of maths and I said, I can't work with you. And he said, why? And I said, because if I performed really fucking well and everything was amazing, you wouldn't make that much money. You'd make money, really not much. It's not worth the investment from your side, and I can't justify it. Because only if things went super, super well would you make your money back. But that was a side note, an answer to yours, just time. Give away your time, take the money, collect the cash. And yeah, fundamentally 5K over a period of 6 months isn't much. You're looking at a 850, some shit, 890, all right, per month, which is solid. And then you have to say, do you think we're gonna close one deal in 6 months with our systems? Well, obviously, yes. Do you think we're gonna close more than that? Yes. So what do you have to lose?
All right, thanks. Understand it.
Yep. Any other questions? Cool. On a side note, I was mentioning to Dio that all of you guys have made me feel really good without you guys knowing it, because I've come to the conclusion I don't actually have to speak to you guys again until Monday, and that honestly, it lifted my mood. So I wanted to share my happiness with you guys in the hopes that you guys get a bit happy as well.
That makes two of us. Amen.
And this is why people don't support the Black Lives Matter movement, honestly. It's comments like this.
That makes
Right?
three of us.
Yeah, we're trying to unite here, and then, unnecessary. Wonderful, guys.
If
Can I
anybody
ask?
thinks racism, you just have to go with one race.
But then who's going to do the work?
Oh,
I'm joking.
can I ask a personal question?
A personal question.
Yeah, like not that personal, but
But you,
yeah. I'm gonna ask you. It's not that.
wonderful. Oh, a signal. Oh, shucks. I know she's literally breaking up. It's such a shame. I was really keen to answer this personal question. Oh,
We can wait, Celine. Just make sure your signal is all right.
from Peru. I was one of Ismael's students. Oh, guys, I was waiting for it. Oh, you're back. What's the question?
Oh, I said I just wanted to know where you're from.
Me.
He's black. He's actually black.
I'm half Angolan, half Portuguese. So yes, I'm half black. I was just blessed with the lighter pigmentation. Yeah. Yeah. Angolan, grew up in London, half Portuguese. Yeah. Adopted by Indians, but yeah. Wonderful. Any more personal questions that aren't going to affect your lives? No. Cool. Hakuna Matata. See you guys Monday.